Hello everyone, welcome to Bisotic. Today we are going to learn about the topic syllogism. Syllogism is a form of reasoning in which a conclusion is drawn from two given or assumed propositions or statement. It is deductive reasoning rather than inductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is a process of reasoning from one or more statements to reach a conclusion. And inductive reasoning is a process of using examples and observations to reach a conclusion. And here you have to take the given statements to be true, even if they are at a variance from established facts. Selections. There are four categories one must remember whenever we solve syllogisms question. These tell how many objects have a certain attribute or how many have been selected. Consider four statements. All persons are kind. No person is kind. Some persons are kind, some persons are not kind. Now here in the first statement, all persons are kind. This is about two classes, which is the first class person, second class kind. So here it defines that the first class is included in the second because we have got all. Next statement, no person is kind. This statement says that the first class is wholly excluded from the second because of the presence of no. Some persons are kind. The third statement says that at least one member of class 1 is also a member of class 2 because some. So at least one member of persons will be belonging to the member of class 2 which is kind. Last, some persons are not kind. The fourth similarly implies that at least one person is not kind. One person is not kind. Note, it is important to understand the above four statements completely before we proceed into further concepts. The first type is universal positive. Universal means something which is applicable to all, and positive means this is of yes format. It indicates something positive applicable to all the items in that category, and it is represented by the letter A. And these statements will begin with all, each, and every. Some of the examples are here. All boys are sharp, all the girls are cute, all Indians are kind, every computer is a fan, each of the colleges is a school. So remember universal positive represented by letter A, starting with all, each, and every. All these are A-type statements because they all are conveying universal positive meanings. Next we have universal negative. In this case, the statement conveys a negative meaning, refers to that kind of statements which are universal and giving a negative impression, just as the name indicates. And here the statements will begin with no, none, none of the, not a single, etc. and are represented by the letter E. Some of the examples are here. No SSP, no person is intelligent, none of the girls is busy, not a single person is sleeping, no Rita is Meena, no boy is smart. Particular positive is the third type. The statement given gives a positive impression, but it covers only some items and not all. These type of statements begin with some, any, a few, and are represented by the letter I. Some of the examples. Some lawyers are actors, some fruits are apples, some staplers are mobile, few books are keys. The last one is particular negative. The statement again covers only some items, but it gives a negative impression, just the opposite of the previous one. These kind of statements are represented by the letter O. So we have got all four represented by different letters. Example, some girls are not crazy, some files are not pencils, some M is not N, some Rohits are not Dhavans, few vegetables are not green. Now let's see different varieties of questions. So the first point, it states that it could be two statements and two conclusions. So that can be one variety of questions that you can get in syllogism. Second one, it can have three or four statements and three or four conclusions, and it could be also a question having six statements. So we have got three varieties of questions here. And to solve these questions, first we need to try and check the conclusions by reversing the individual statements given and then by combining two or three statements which are given. Certain points to remember while solving these kind of questions. With two particular statements, we cannot form universal conclusion. With two positive statements, no negative conclusion is possible. With two negative statements, no positive conclusion is possible. Now, with two particular statements, no conclusion is possible except when an I type of statement is given. And I type is particular positive. And then by reversing it, an I type of conclusion is possible. Now, there are certain points to be remembered. The best way to solve syllogism is to remember the syllogism rules besides remembering the Venn diagram approach and the conclusion that can be derived from one single statement. Important points related to conclusions. The first one, the statement type of E when reversed, and E is universal negative. It gives a conclusion of type E and O. When a statement of type A when reversed, A is universal positive, and when you reverse it, we give a conclusion of type I. When statement of type I is reversed and I is particular positive, it gives a conclusion of type I itself. A statement of O and O is particular negative when it is reversed does not get a conclusion of any type. Moving on, we have got definite conclusions. Based on these statements, based on definite conclusions, we can conclude some things definitely and some things as possibility. So if we have a definite conclusion, there will be something that can be a possibility and there can be something which is very much definite. Definite statements are those that are certainly true based on the statements given. Now, this can most certainly be concluded on the basis of least Venn diagram. And the least Venn diagram, it shows minimal or least possible overlapping between two groups. These are the most common ways of representing the given statement. Each selection will have its own least Venn diagram. Some of the possibilities. Possibilities are those that may be true but are not definite. So, as the name indicates, it can be true, it may be true but not definite. They can shown be using least Venn diagram or alternate Venn diagrams. Now, alternate diagrams are those Venn diagrams that are not commonly used to depict the particular statement or some specific statement, but are also valid ways of representing the statement. Alternate Venn diagrams are also not always correct all the time, but can often be useful in proving something wrong. It cannot be correct all the time, but at least we can use these alternate Venn diagrams to prove something that's wrong, and we can just eliminate the options and get the right one. So this is all about syllogism concept. We learned about universal positive, universal negative, particular positive, particular negative, and how each type is represented as by which letter. And we also learned how what kind of statements that we can get and different varieties of questions that can be asked in syllogism. Thank you so much for watching, and in the next video we will see how to solve syllogism type of questions. Thank you.